Hi, this is the chapter 4-2 Logical Database Design and the Relational Model. In this chapter, we're going to study several terminologies, and then we will study 5 property of relations, and then we're going to study 2 property of candidate key, and then we will study first, second, and third normalization, and then we're going to study several problems from merging relations, and then we will study transforming entity relationship diagram and enhance the entity relationship diagram to relation. And then we will study creating table with entity and relational integrity constraint. And then we will study several normalization to decompose anomalous relations to well-structured relations. Data normalization. The previous study showed how to map an entity relationship model to relational database design. If you follow this mapping, then your result will be a well-structured database. But if you just start by creating table without considering the entity relationship rule, then you will likely get a database that is not well structured. These databases could cause anomalies because of data duplication. In the next several slides, we will see how to correct this anomaly through a process called normalization. Primarily, a tool to validate and improve a logical design so that it satisfy certain constraints that avoid unnecessary duplication of data. The process of decomposing relations with anomalies to produce smaller, well-structured relations. Well-structured relation. A general rule of thumb: a table should not pertain to more than one entity type. Relations that contain minimum data redundancy and allow users to insert, delete, and update rows without causing data inconsistencies. Goal is to avoid anomaly, insertion anomaly. Adding new rows forces user to create duplicate data. Deletion anomaly. Deleting rows may cause a loss of data that would be needed for other future rows. Modification anomaly. Changing data in a row forces changes to other rows because of duplication. Example, figure 4-2b, employee 2. Is this a relation? Answer, yes. Unique rows and no multi-value attribute. What is the primary key? Answer, composite. Employee ID and course title. These are the primary key. So you can see there are employee ID and name and department number, salary and course title, and date completed. So there are composite primary key, employee ID and course title. If an employee has not taken any courses, the course title and date completed attribute value are null. See the employee with employee ID 190 for an example. Normally, in this relation, insertion can enter new employee without having the employee take a class or enlist empty field of class information. Deletion. If we remove employee 140, we lose information about existence of a tax accounting class. Modification. Giving a salary increase to employee 100 forces us to update multiple records. Why do these anomalies exist? Because there are two themes, entity type, in this one relation. There are employee and there are courses. This results in data duplication and an unnecessary dependence between the entity. Figure 4-22 steps in normalization. You can see normalization can be accomplished and understood in stage, each of which corresponds to normal form. A normal form is a state of a relation that requires that certain rules regarding relationship between attribute or functional dependency are satisfied. We describe these rules briefly in this section and illustrate them in detail in the following section. First, normal form. Any multi-value attribute, also called repeating group, have been removed. So there is a single value, possibly null, at the intersection of each row and column of the table, as in figure 4-2b. Second, normal form. Any partial functional dependency have been removed. Example, non-key attributes are identified by the whole primary key. Third, normal form. Any transitive dependencies have been removed. Example, non-key attributes are identified by only the primary key. Voice code normal form. Any remaining anomalies that result from functional dependency have been removed because there was more than one possible primary key for the same non-keys. Fourth, normal form. Any multi-value dependencies have been removed. Fifth, normal form. Any remaining anomalies have been removed. So table with multi-value attribute, remove multi-value attribute, first normal form. Remove partial dependency, second normal form. Remove transitive dependency, third normal form. Remove remaining anomaly resulting from multiple candidate key, voice code normal form. Remove multi-value dependency, fourth normal form. Remove remaining anomaly, fifth normal form. Functional dependency and key. Functional dependency, the value of one attribute, the determinant determines the value of another attribute. Candidate key, a unique identifier, one of the candidate key will become the primary key. Example, perhaps there is both credit card number and social security number in a table. In this case, both are candidate keys. Each non-key field is functionally dependent on every candidate key. Fourth normal form. No multi-value attribute Every attribute value is atomic. Figure 4-25 is not in first normal form, multi-value attribute. It is not a relation. Figure 4-26 is in first normal form. All relations are in first normal form. So, step 1, convert to first normal form. A relation is in first normal form if the following two constraints both apply. There are no repeating group in the relation. First, there is a single fact at the intersection of each row and column of the table. A primary key has been defined which uniquely identifies each row in the relation. Remove repeating group. As you can see, the invoice data in figure 4-25 contain a repeating group for each product that appears on a particular order. Source, order ID 1006 contains 3 repeating groups corresponding to 3 products on that order. In a previous section, you saw how to remove repeating group from a table by filling relevant data value into previous vacant cell of the table. Applying this procedure to the invoice table yields the new relation named invoice shown in figure 4-26. So, table with multi-value attribute not in first normal form. This is not a relation. And then this is a relation, but not a well-structured one. Normally in this relation insertion, if new product is ordered for order 1007 of existing customer data must be re-entered, causing duplication. Deletion. If we delete the dining table from order 1006, we lose information concerning this item, finish and price. Update. Changing the price of product ID 4 requires update in multiple records. Why do these anomalies exist? Because there are multiple theme entity type in one relation. This results in duplication and an unnecessary dependency between the entity. Second normal form. First normal form plus every non-key attribute is fully functionally dependent on the entire primary key. Every non-key attribute must be defined by the entire key, not by only part of the key. No partial functional dependency. You can remove many of the redundancy and resulting anomaly in the invoice relation by converting it to second normal form. A relation is in second normal form if it is in first normal form and contains no partial functional dependency. A partial functional dependency exists when a non-key attribute is functionally dependent on part, but not all of the primary key. As you can see, the following partial dependency exists in figure 4-27. The first of these partial dependency, for example, state that the date on an order is uniquely determined by the order number and has nothing to do with the product ID. To convert to a relation with partial dependency to second normal form, the following steps are required. Create a new relation for each primary key attribute or combination of attribute, there is a determinant in a partial dependency. That attribute is the primary key in the new relation. Move the non-key attribute that are only dependent on this primary key attribute or attribute from the old relation to the new relation. So figure 4-27, functional dependency diagram for invoice. So order ID, there are functional dependency. So order date, customer ID, customer name, customer address, and customer name, customer address, product, also product description, and then product finish, and product standard price, and then product ID, also order quantity. Therefore, not in second normal form. The result of performing the second normal form process. These steps for the invoice relations are shown in figure 4-28. Removal of the partial dependency results in the formation of two new relations, product and customer order. The invoice relation is now left with just the primary key attribute, order ID and product ID, and order quantity, which is functionally dependent on the full key. We rename this relation order line because each row in this table represents one line item on an order. As indicated in figure 4-28, the relations order line and product are in third normal form. However, customer order contains transitive dependency, and therefore, although a second normal form is not yet in third normal form. A relation that is first normal form will be in second normal form if any one of the following conditions applies. The primary key consists of one attribute, the attribute product ID in the product relation in figure 4-28. By the definition, there can be a partial dependency in such a relation. No non-key attribute exists in the relation, since all of the attributes in the relation are components of the primary key. There are no functional dependencies in such a relation. Every non-key attribute is functionally dependent on the full set of primary key attributes. The attribute order quantity in the order line relation in figure 4-28. Getting it into second normal form, partial dependency are removed, but there are still transitive dependency. Third normal form, second normal form plus no transitive dependency. Functional dependency on non-primary key attribute. This is called transitive because the primary key is a determinant for another attribute, which in turn is a determinant for a third. Solution: non-key determinant with transitive dependency go into a new table. Non-key determinant becomes primary key in the new table and stays as foreign key in the old table. Step 3. Convert to third normal form. A relation in third normal form if it is a second normal form and no transitive dependencies exists. A transitive dependency in a relation is a functional dependency between the primary key and one or more non-key attributes that are dependent on the primary key via another non-key attribute. Removing transitive dependency. You can easily remove transitive dependency from a relation by means of a three-step procedure. For each non-key attribute or set of attributes that is a determinant in a relation, create a new relation. That attribute or set of attributes becomes the primary key of the new relation. Move all of the attributes that are functionally dependent only on the primary key of the new relation from the old to the new relation. Leave the attribute that serves as a primary key in the new relation in the old relation to serve as a foreign key that allows you to associate the two relations. The result of applying this step to the relation customer order are shown in figure 4-29. A new relation named customer has been created to receive the component of the transitive dependency. The determinant component, customer ID, becomes the primary key of the relation, and the contribute customer name and customer address are moved to the relation. Customer order is renamed order, and the attribute customer ID remains as a foreign key in that relation. This allows us to associate an order with the customer who submitted the order. As indicated in figure 4-29, these relations are now in subnormal form. Normalizing the data in the invoice view has resulted in the creation of four steps in subnormal form: customer, product, order, and order line. A relation schema show these four relations, and their relations is shown in figure 4-30 in our textbook. So getting it into subnormal form, transitive dependency are removed. So figure 4-30, relational schema for invoice data, Microsoft Vision notation. The customer ID is a foreign key in order, and order ID and product ID are foreign key in order line. Foreign key are shown in visual for logical but not conceptual data model. Also note that minimum cardinality are shown on the relationship even though the normalized relation provides no evidence of what the minimum cardinality should be. Sample data for the relations might include, for example, a customer with no order, thus providing evidence of the optional cardinality for the relationship places. Merging relation. View integration, combining entity from multiple entity relationship model into common relation. Needs to watch out for when merging entity from different entity relationship model. Synonym, two or more attribute with different name but same meaning. Homonym, attribute with the same name but different meaning. Transitive dependency, even if relations are in subnormal form prior to merging, they may not be after merging. Supertype-subtype relationship may be hidden prior to merging. After completing normal form, all non-key will be dependent on primary key, the full primary key and nothing but the primary key. Merging relation. On large project, the work of the several sub-team comes together during logical design, so there is often a need to merge relation. Integrating existing database with new information requirement often lead to the need to integrate different view. New data requirement may arise during the life cycle, so there is a need to merge any new relations with what has already been developed. View integration problem. When integrating relation as in the preceding example, you must understand the meaning of the data and must be prepared to solve any problem that may arise in that process. In this section, we describe and briefly illustrate 4 problems that arise in viewing integration. Already explained, synonym. In some situation, 2 or more attributes may have different name but the same meaning. Example, when they describe the same characteristic of an entity, such attributes are called synonym. For example, employee ID and employee number may be synonym. When merging the relation that contains synonym, you should obtain agreement, if possible, from user on a single standardized name for the attribute and eliminate any other synonym. Another alternative is to choose a third name to replace the synonym. For example, consider the following relations. Homonym. An attribute name that may have more than one meaning is called a homonym. For example, the term account might refer to a bank checking account, saving account, loan account, or other type of account, and therefore account refer to different data depending on how it is used. You should be on the lookout for homonym when merging relation. Consider the following example. Maybe there are student table, student 1, student ID, name, address, student 2, student ID, name, phone number, address. In discussion with the user, you may discover that the attribute address in student 1 refer to student campus address, whereas student in student 2, the same attribute refer to a student permanent home address. To resolve this conflict, we should probably need to create new attribute names, so the merged relation would become student, student ID, name, phone number, campus address, permanent home address. Transitive dependency. When two third normal form relations are merged to form a single relation, transitive dependency described earlier in this chapter may result. For example, consider the following 2 relations: student 1 table, student ID, major name; student 2 table, student ID, advisor. Because student 1 and student 2 have the same primary key, the 2 relations can be merged: student, student ID, major name, advisor. However, suppose that each major has exactly 1 advisor. In this case, advisor is functionally dependent on major name. Major name is dependent on advisor. Functional dependency on advisor. If the preceding functional dependency existing, then student is in second normal form, but not in third normal form, because it contains a transitive dependency. You can create third normal form relation by removing the transitive dependency. Major name becomes a foreign key in student. So student, student ID, and major name is a major table, and then advisor. And supertype subtype relationship. These relationships may be hidden in user view or relation. Suppose that we have the following two hospital relation: patient 1, patient ID, name, address; patient 2, patient ID, room number. Initially, it appears that these two relations can be merged into a single patient relation. However, the analyst correctly suspect that there are two different types of patient: resident patient and outpatient. Patient 1 actually contains attribute common to all patients. Patient 2 contains an attribute, room number, that is characteristic only of resident patient. In this situation, the analyst should create supertype subtype relationship for this entity: patient, patient ID, name, address; resident, patient ID, room number; outpatient, patient ID, date treated. We have created outpatient relation to show what it might look like if it were needed, but it is not necessary given only patient 1 and patient 2 use view. For an extended discussion of view integration in database design, we're gonna study later. Figure 4-31, enterprise key. Relation with enterprise key. There are OID. Same data with enterprise key. Also there are object. OID, employee OID, and customer OID. Database experts have strengthened the criteria for primary key specification. Experts now also recommend that primary key be unique across the whole database, not just unique within the relation table to which it applies. This criterion makes a primary key more like what in object-oriented database is called an object identifier. With this recommendation, the primary key of the relation becomes a value internal to the database system and has no business meaning. So, logical database design is the process of transforming the conceptual data model into a logical data model. The emphasis in this chapter has been on the relational data model because of its importance in contemporary database system. The relational data model represents data in the form of table called relations. A relation is named two-dimensional table of data. A key property of relation is that they cannot contain multi-value attribute. We studied carefully the combining relation, and also there are with some problem, such as synonym, homonym, transitive, dependency, and supertype subtype relationship. In addition, before relation are defined to the database management system, all primary keys should be described as single attribute non-intelligent key and preferably as enterprise key. We call it a day. See you next class. Thank you. Have a great day.